It's always exciting, isn't it, to see a local venture just, burst onto the global scene.
Absolutely.
And right now, there's this buzz around a startup from Bari, Hoken Tech. They've really been making some noise.
They certainly have.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into their latest win, being named the best startup in Bari. That's at HackerNoon's Startups of the Year 2024.
Yeah, and it really puts things in perspective when you look at the scale of that HackerNoon competition. It's huge.
How big are we talking?
Well, think about this. Over 150,000 nominations from more than 200 cities worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah, across 6 continents, something like over 100 industries represented. It
Mm.
gives you a real feel for the sheer variety of innovation out there.
That's incredible skill. And the engagement, the voting figures, they tell a story too, right?
Oh, definitely. The voter turnout was, well, pretty staggering this year. 4.3 million votes cast.
4.3 million. That's a lot.
It is, especially when you compare it to, I think, the 623,000 the year before. So a massive leap.
That really highlights how much interest there is in this whole startup ecosystem globally. It's booming.
For sure. And, if you zoom into just Europe, it was super competitive.
How so?
We're looking at around 25,900 startups, something like that,
Mm.
across 465 cities.
Okay.
And within that, 88,600 votes were cast just in Europe.
Right. So for Hoken Tech to then win in Bari,
Yeah.
specifically with 2,300 votes, that's pretty significant in that context.
Exactly. It really says something about the impact they're making locally.
And it's not their first time at the rodeo, so to speak. They've had success in this competition before, haven't they?
That's right. Back in 2022, they won Best Startup in Bari and actually placed 3rd overall in Europe.
Third in Europe. Wow.
Yeah. And then they won Bari again in 2023.
So consistent recognition, that definitely suggests there's something substantial going on there, more than just luck.
Absolutely. That kind of pattern points towards, a solid strategy, a clear vision, not just a flash in the pan. And that's really our mission for this deep dive, isn't it? To try and figure out what makes Hoken Tech tick, what makes them stand out, particularly in this, really dynamic Web3 sector.
Right. So let's get into it. Hoken Tech, they're in Web3, using EOS blockchain, using NFTs. Now, for people familiar with the space, that makes sense. But what's the basic idea? What are they trying to achieve with these tools?
Well, fundamentally, they're taking blockchain and NFTs and applying them in some pretty novel ways,
Oh.
especially for the art world.
Ah, okay. Art.
Yeah, think about museums, artists. They need better ways to, manage artwork, trade it securely, transparently.
Right. The classic problems of provenance and ownership.
Exactly. Blockchain gives you that unchangeable record, that ledger.
Mm.
And NFTs let you create unique digital tokens tied to assets. It proves authenticity, tracks history in a way that's often, frankly, quite difficult with traditional methods.
Okay, that makes sense. Bringing that digital certainty to art. Now, they've got some specific projects that sound, well, quite inventive. The one that really caught my eye was the NFT video game for a Game Boy.
Yeah. Isn't that something that's called Leap to NFT?
A Game Boy NFT game. It's
Yeah.
unexpected.
It really is. And I think that's the genius of it. They're taking this kind of abstract concept, NFTs, and making it tangible, even fun, for a really wide audience. Well, it's free to play,
Yeah.
first off. And it's on this super familiar retro platform. So like a gentle introduction,
Right.
you know?
Like low barrier to entry.
Exactly. You get to experience owning items in the game, but on the blockchain.
Mm.
It helps demystify NFTs, shows they're not just like expensive digital art pieces, but can be used for owning digital stuff in games too.
That's smart. Using nostalgia to make new tech approachable. Okay, what about these physical NFTs? How does that work? Bridging digital and physical.
Yeah. So physical NFTs basically link a tangible object, say a painting, directly to its digital twin, the NFT on the blockchain.
Okay.
That NFT acts like a digital certificate of ownership. It's verifiable. It tracks the artwork's history, who owned it when. It makes authentication much more robust.
So you buy a physical piece, you get this unforgeable digital title along with it. That could solve a lot of headaches in the art market, right? Tracking provenance and all that.
Precisely. It adds a layer of trust and transparency that's often missing.
Okay, now this next one sounds really intriguing. The portable NFT dispenser. What even is that? And decentralized redemption without electricity.
Yeah, this one sounds like real out-of-the-box thinking.
Definitely.
The source details are a bit light on the exact mechanics of how it works without power, but the core idea is pretty revolutionary.
Okay.
Imagine a small portable device that can verify an NFT you own, maybe by interacting with the blockchain in some low-power way, perhaps near-field communication or something similar, and then dispense a related physical item or maybe unlock digital content. All offline, no plugging in.
Whoa. Okay, that changes things.
Right. It drastically increases accessibility. You're not tied to having an internet connection or a power outlet right there to interact with your digital assets in a meaningful way.
That really lowers the barrier for using NFTs in places, without reliable infrastructure. Huge potential.
Absolutely. It moves beyond just the screen and internet dependency.
Now, amidst all this tech innovation, it seems they're also thinking about sustainability, which is, let's be honest, increasingly important, especially in blockchain.
Yes, definitely. They mention actively monitoring their annual co-euro emissions,
Hmm.
and they have a score, currently 35, that's part of their goal towards achieving B Corporation status.
B Corps. Okay. So that shows a real commitment embedding environmental responsibility into how they operate.
It does. It suggests they're looking at the bigger picture, not just the tech itself. And that resonates, with a lot of people today,
Hmm.
investors, consumers.
Yeah, good point. It adds another dimension to their profile. Now, this wasn't their only moment in the spotlight. They picked up other awards before, right? Back in 2022.
That's correct. Also from HackerNoon, actually. They won 2 in the crypto sector that year.
Which ones?
One was Most Innovative Use of Blockchain Technology. The other was the MUT Award. MUT, yeah, stands for Most Utilizable NFT. And what's really interesting about that one,
Go on.
they actually beat the Sandbox for that award.
Really? The Sandbox? That's a huge name in the metaverse and NFT space. How did they manage that?
Well, according to the info we have, the judges highlighted the Hoken Tech solution likely related to that dispenser idea for its ease of implementation.
Ah, practicality again.
Exactly. And crucially, that offline capability we were just talking about, it seems their NFT solution was seen as more, utilizable in the real world compared to potentially more complex platforms like the Sandbox at the time.
So it's that combination again. Innovative tech, but grounded in practical use. User-friendly, accessible. That seems key.
It appears to be a core part of their philosophy, yes.
And it's not just the company getting kudos, right? The CTO, Alfredo de Candia, he's picked up some individual awards, too.
Indeed. Quite a few, actually. In 2022, he got Best Contributor of the Year in Crypto Trading and also Best Cryptocurrency Adoption Contributor of the Year.
Okay, so expertise in trading and adoption.
Right. And even before that, in 2021, he was named Best Crypto Journalist.
So deep roots and broad expertise within the crypto space on the leadership team. That definitely helps.
Absolutely. It underscores the level of knowledge and, frankly, leadership driving the company forward.
So stepping back, looking at the whole picture, this latest win in Bari, their track record, these specific kind of quirky innovations, the awards, it really does position Hoken Tech as, well, a pretty significant force in Web3, wouldn't you say?
Yep.
Especially for Southern Italy.
I'd agree completely. Their success story isn't just about jumping on the blockchain bandwagon. It's about how they're applying it, creatively solving actual problems, with that focus on making it accessible, making it practical. Things like the GameBoy game, the portable dispenser. They're unique.
Yeah.
Combine that with the sustainability angle, and you have a really compelling package. It's a great example of focused innovation in Web3.
Okay, so wrapping this up, Hoken Tech's journey is pretty impressive. From local recognition in Bari, pushing boundaries in Europe, and now consistently winning their hometown category in a major global competition.
Yeah, a steady climb.
And what really stands out are those surprising twists, right? An NFT game, but for a Game Boy. Physical NFTs making digital ownership tangible. And this portable, battery-free NFT dispenser, it just hints at possibilities.
It really does. It's a fascinating mix of forward-thinking tech and user-centric design.
It definitely leaves you thinking, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, how could innovations like that portable dispenser change how we even think about owning digital stuff?
If you don't need constant internet or power, what does that unlock?
Right. Could digital ownership become much more seamlessly integrated into our physical world? And it makes you wonder, what other everyday objects, things we don't even think about, could be quietly revolutionized by blockchain in ways we haven't imagined yet?
That's the really exciting question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where else can this fundamental tech go? Something for you, the listener, to ponder.